I don't know where you are in the world. I'm in Utah and I want to leave. And I'm going to share with you why I feel this way. I'm a Utah native. I've been here my entire life. I um, have a very diversified background and I've seen a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things. The Red Rocks are beautiful. This is a beautiful place to live. If you've not been here, it's definitely worth visiting. You can go to, of course, Zion's, Bryce Canyon. There's all kinds of beautiful places. But I'm going to share with you guys today why I want to leave. Okay, Utah's gorgeous. The mountains, the red rocks, the peace. Not because of the beauty. That's not why I want to leave. Okay, but because of the bullshit. No one wants to talk about. Because I'm tired of living in a state that preaches family values but hides behind silence and control. I'm done watching leaders act like people pleasers. You've got Spencer Cox. What a little weak mother, you know what. While communities are sleeping. This is my truth. And if it wakes you up, I hope so. That's good. Okay, because that's what it's meant to do. I feel like this whole state, I won't say this whole state. I know a lot of people that aren't sleeping, but there's a huge amount of people that are sleeping. And as I dive into this and I talk about specific things with receipts, you will hopefully peel your eyes back, open your ears. Okay, I'm a Utah native, born and raised. I love this place. I mean, my entire family's here. I have, my family goes back to, the settlers, the pioneers, um, Leroy Park, Robert Leroy Parker, Butch Cassidy. Yeah. Okay. I have a long line of family from here. But I just cannot stand the things that I see and that I don't see out of people. Utah has a nice problem. Does that make sense? Like everyone is so nice. That can be a problem. I don't want to be nice. Okay? Be kind, but let me dive in, okay? I could get out going. People here have mistaken being nice for being honest, being real, okay? We've built this image of perfection. The smiling families, the clean streets, the temple pictures on Instagram. But underneath that, a whole lot of people are suffering quietly, pretending everything is fine. We don't need more nice people, folks. We need awake people. I want to see people ready to fight back, to tell these leaders that have been hiding things that you're done, okay? And that you're not going to follow their bullshit anymore. Let's talk about the leadership here, or the lack of it. Governor Spencer Cox, I'll say it. He's a nice guy. Have you heard him? I couldn't get this to upload. Let me give you a little.
Spencer Cox, Governor of Utah and Chairman of the National Governors Association. You and I probably disagree on a few things, and that's okay. It's actually good for us, but it's way too easy to let our differences become toxic. Our country is deeply divided, and most Americans are tired of the division. Disagreeing better, not disagreeing less, is the answer. When we engage in healthy, honest dialogue, we avoid demonizing others, and we're more likely to find solutions. And I'm not just...
Are you kidding me? Just listening to him, I want to throw up. He is such a weak, that's an example of a weak leader, okay? Because he's an example of all the other weak leaders in here that are hiding their shit with your money. He's a nice guy, but a weak leader. And Utah deserves better. Instead of protecting our teachers, our firefighters, and police, he signed one of the most restrictive labor laws in the country. That's not courage, that's control. When the Senate president faced questions about ethics, Cox defended him instead of demanding transparency. He said he wants honest conversations. Bullshit. That's not the way he is running things, and the way he speaks is just so effing weak. That's not leadership. That's politics right there. Okay? That's an example of a weak, controlled politician. I can't stand that. Oh, Utah sells an image, family, morality, perfection, but real morality doesn't hide sin in private while parading purity in public. One thing I grew up with in my household with my parents is my parents stopped going to church when they were young. I went to a lot of different religions, to be honest with you. I went to Jehovah's Witness, I went to Born Again Christian, I went to Baptist, I went to camp with the Baptist church. I became a member of the LDS church at 15, didn't continue going because I didn't want to go by myself. I went into the primary presidency in my second marriage, and I served, and I went through the temple and all of the things, okay? I have just watched, and there's some really wonderful people that I would consider my friends that are part of the church. But I don't understand how the these people are going when you learn about the bullshit going on. Like, are you sleeping? And I was brought up with values like we don't effing lie. We don't steal. We don't, you know what I mean? So then when I hear that we have leaders in church insisting that you have to pay tithing or you're not going to heaven, and so they manipulate people and control people to pay, and they're the wealthiest church. You know that? And there's a girl online, and she's pretending. She's actually calling churches across the country LDS churches, okay? Not stakes, but they're each church. You know, if you look them up, LDS church, you can get a phone number. She's calling them and telling them that her baby has been crying, and you could hear the baby crying in the background. And she's asking, can you help me with some formula? Mind you, it's the most wealthiest church out there. They insist you give money. They said, we can't help you with that. We can't help you with formula. When you see them donating and doing things online, like, I think it's great, you know, for when they're serving. But I'll tell you, there was a point when we lost our jobs. We were in a little pickle, and we asked for 1 month of help to cover our mortgage after paying tithing for a long time. In fact, my husband paid tithing. Well, we're separated, but he had paid tithing his entire life. As soon as he made money, he was required to pay tithing. He served a mission, all the things. And guess what? They couldn't help us with 1 month, $2,800. I have a really hard time with that. But then they're paying millions to cover up the bullshit, the sex scandals, abuse, and all of these things to protect the reputation of others. While instead of using that money to help these victims get the help they need, the therapy they need. Like, it's sick if you think about it. I can get a little passionate about this, okay? So, and then we've got these people. I can't stand hypocrites. I cannot stand hypocrites. When I learn that people are going to church on Sunday, pretending like they're all perfect, and then they go and swing. You know what I'm saying? Or get wasted. To each his own, but I cannot be a hypocrite. I can't play both roles. It doesn't work in my bloodline. Like, we don't do that. We've got people preaching abstinence on Sunday and swinging with other couples on Saturday. And it's not about judging, because honestly, I'm not judging. It's just about honesty, transparency, not being a hypocrite. I don't know how people like can do that. Can like behave in that way and then go to church and pretend like they're not that way outside of church. Be who you say you are. Stop pretending. The fake holiness is exhausting. Let's bring some receipts, okay? According to Utah's own legislative data, 1 in 9 girls and 1 in 24 boys in this state report being forced into sexual acts they didn't want. The national average for student sexual violence is 10.8%. Utah is 14.3%. Almost half of all Utah women have experienced some form of sexual violence. That's sickening, especially when you have such a strong presence of the LDS church here. Like, why is this a thing? This shouldn't even be a thing. We should be the lowest. And yet, Utah's biggest institution, the LDS Church, has faced nearly 100 lawsuits across the country for hiding and settling sexual abuse cases quietly. They even fought against HB 90, the bill that would have forced clergy to report abuse. Tell me how that lines up with the message of protecting children. This is what happens when people confuse silence with peace. You can't heal what you hide. You can't fix what you won't face. Utah doesn't need more temples. It needs more truth. It needs people to wake up. And not just wake up, but actually use your voice. Amplify your voice. That's what my Women of Action's about. Action. A is amplify your voice. Okay? C is to make connections. T is to transform. I is to inspire others. O is to own. Own your shit. And N is to nurture. Nurture others. Nurture your growth. Until that happens, until Utah starts showing up in more truth, honesty, transparency, until that happens, I cannot stand living in a state that rewards silence more than courage. I want to leave because this place is too much. They stay quiet, and it's sick. I'd rather live somewhere where people are raw, real, than somewhere perfect and fake. They show it's a perfect place to live, but it's fake. I want to leave because waking sometimes means, when you wake up, sometimes that means walking away. From systems, from silence, from small thinking, from people that are sleeping. I have a really hard time connecting with people that cannot be real. When I see you going to church, but then I know that you're sleeping with other couples outside of that. I have a really hard time watching people go to church, live like they're following all the rules, and then they drink on the side. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I know that people have challenges, but don't pretend. The pretenders, the fakeness, be real. And if this isn't even about judgment. It's just about waking up and being real. Like, make some changes. I'm using my voice in this platform to help. Hopefully I can bring some awareness to what I see as an outsider. And to every woman that's listening, maybe you weren't meant to fit in here either. Maybe you were meant to wake up, rebuild, and rise somewhere your voice isn't punished for being powerful. This leader, Spencer Cox, wow. I feel like I could just take him down myself, kick his ass. I'm serious. What a little I have no words for him. And I promise you, I have nothing but love in my heart. Nothing but love in my heart. But I want to protect children. I want to make sure women are strong and they have a way, if they're in a toxic relationship, they can leave. If they need to lead their kids, they're leading their kids to be strong kids, into men and women, not kids that are sleeping. Like, this isn't just about us adults. This is the generations after us. Okay? Imagine if it's like this now and you're sleeping and you're not standing up to the leaders that you know are hiding shit and you're allowing it. What are you teaching your kids? That's my message. So I hope you think about it. Share this with someone that you think needs to hear this message. And I hope you have an incredible day.